What's up, everyone? uh, welcome to episode, I believe, five of. I think we've kind of settled on that hobby show for the title, so we'll go for that for now. If you guys don't like it, let us know. We would love to hear your feedback. But today, me and Houston wanted to talk about your best and well, if anybody tunes in, but we'll hear about your encounters. But me and Houston's best and worst celebrity. Well, yeah, I guess you could say athletes or celebrities uh,
Yeah.
in encounters. But yeah, I didn't get the chance to introduce you. As always, Houston Ball from Chasing the Autograph is with me. So, did you want to start out with the positive or the negative?
Let's uh let's go ahead and start out with a negative. Go ahead and let everybody get their pleasure from our pain.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll let. Do you want to go first or me?
It's all yours, man. I've got mine, and people have probably heard it a couple of times already, but
All right.
I'm excited to hear yours.
So it's I don't really have too many negatives, but the one that sticks out in my mind, I was at an Orioles game. They were playing the Boston Red Sox. This was I can't even remember, but so they were playing the Red Sox after the game. The cool thing about Camden Yards is if you go there on a day that's not a getaway day for the teams, a lot of the times the players will walk back to their hotel or they'll walk out, to hit up a cab or stuff like that. This was back before Uber, stuff like that. So I had recognized one of the players leaving, and it was Mike Timlin. I'm sure most people don't know who the hell Mike Timlin is, but he's a former Oriole. He was with the Red Sox when they won. I think it was 2004 when they won the World Series. But anyway, I recognized him. I was like, "Hey, Mr. Timlin, could I have your autograph?" That type thing. No,
Yeah.
I can't. Too busy. Got to go. Right. So he goes and gets on the bus, but he pulled that I'm too busy. And he went and sat on the bus. And like a couple minutes later, the dude gets off the bus and has to go back to the locker room, clubhouse, or whatever to get something that he forgot. So I asked him again, hey, Mr. Timlin, do you have time now? Can I get an autograph? And just totally blew me off. And I forget how the conversation went, but that sticks out in my mind that he's yeah, I don't really like that dude. And the crappy thing is, I try to get an autograph from everyone that's played for the Orioles. So I needed that dude's autograph for my own collection. So I had to break down one day and get the dickhead's autograph. I bought it on eBay, but it's like everybody's like, "Who the hell's Mike Timlin?" So it only cost me $1.50 shipped. So yeah, that.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
think you didn't waste money on the asshole's autograph.
Yeah, and he was yeah, I just don't get it. A middle reliever blowing me off, man. And it was I want to say it was the second game of the year because usually for the Orioles you can never get well, now you can get opening day tickets, but back then, they were somewhat respectable. So I always got the second game of the year tickets because they'll have the first game opening day, then for some weird reason they have a day off, and then the third game is usually an afternoon game, and that one, or I'm sorry, it'd be the second game on the third day is usually an afternoon game, so the crowds are a little bit less smaller, and usually you have a better chance of getting an autograph for some reason. And I'm the only person that recognized him too, so you
And
should
yeah,
like here. How many do you want? But
yeah, because I doubt that. I mean, if he was getting hounded at like every game, home, away, like he couldn't go out to eat or something like that, maybe I could understand it. But
yeah,
just, I don't think people are surrounding him and not even letting him go to the bathroom.
yeah, yeah. But I was super heated. But as I've gotten older, I've come to terms with it because it's like it's okay to be told no. Still
Yeah.
makes me angry, but with the situation and everything. But I'm sure yours is probably Panthers related. Because for people that don't know, you are in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, and,
Yeah.
and you're fairly close to the Carolina Panthers practice facility, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. The Panther Stadium and the practice field are just like less than, I mean, a few hundred feet from each other. And I live about an hour and 40 minutes from the stadium. So it's not far of a drive at all. And I usually get up about 7:30, leave the house about 8, and try to get there about 9:30 ish. And they start walking up uh, they get ready at the stadium, and there's a sidewalk that literally the general public uses, and they get ready at the stadium, and then they walk to the practice field on that sidewalk, and um, they close it off to the public once they start walking up or getting carted up or however they want to do it.
Yeah.
And along that path right at the practice field, there's a fence that you can, once they close everything off, you can stand behind it and yell at the players and try to get them to sign for you and stuff like that. And a lot of the bigger name players for the Panthers, like Cam Newton when he was there, Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers, they were on the cart 99% of the time, so there was no getting them. And Christian McCaffrey, who obviously any Panthers fan would want his autograph, he was on the cart 99% of the time. And the two times that he wasn't on the cart is where my story kind of begins, because he's walking up, and of course I see he's not on the cart, and he's walking up, so I get excited, start getting an adrenaline rush, and
Oh yeah.
and I try to wait for him to get a little bit closer. And the first time he was actually coming, he carted up to practice. They practiced, and he's walking out, and I'm standing just directly in front of the gate where they walk out, and the person, like two or three people to the left of me, they have a McCaffrey jersey hanging over the fence, and of course they're Christian, will you sign for me? And so he walks over, signs for them, signs for two people over, and then signs for the person next to me. And once he hit those first two people, I'm like, my heart is pounding. I'm like, this is it. This is the moment. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the person beside of me has a Panthers hat, and so he signs the bill of the hat, and I think it's like an 11 by 14 picture of the Panthers logo. It's actually behind me, if you can see it back there. And I stick it out, and I like have the picture in one hand and my paint pen in the other, and I'm just like, Christian, I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you're the GOAT running back of all time. I hand him, and I was like, can you sign this for me? And what makes it so bad is he looks at the picture, looks up at me, and just keeps walking. Like, he's a foot away from me if he's 2 feet away. And
so, was there already autographs on the picture that you handed him?
yeah, there was some that I got before practice walking up. And then he was like one of the first ones out. So he was the first one I was trying to get as he was coming out. And it was maybe like 4 or 5 on there at that point. And so he looks at the picture, looks at the picture, looks up at me, and then just walks away and doesn't sign for me or anybody else after that point. And so I'm just looking at the person beside of me like, I want to punch you right now, because that could have been me. And it wouldn't have been so bad if he didn't look down and look at me like.
Yeah, he gave you that ocular pat down and decided you weren't worthy. And then everybody else is probably like, what the hell did this dude just say to CMC to make him stop signing?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I'm sure it's like, people 4 or 5 down, because it kind of loops around. So even if you're at the back of the line, you can still see what's going on like up ahead of you. And usually there's never more than like 15 people there, so you can kind of see. So I'm sure people had some thoughts that I said something to him, or I was trying to get him to sign something that he knew that I was going to sell. And maybe that's what he thought, that I was going to try to sell it.
That's why I asked if there was other signatures on there, because like some guys are weird like that, where they think they'll either not sign it because it doesn't have somebody else's signature, or he could have went the route and asked you what your name was and personalized it.
Yeah, and
they try to do that.
Yeah, I would have been perfectly fine with that too. If anybody's like, "Can I just personalize it to you?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I don't care."
Yeah, right. Wow.
And the second time, it's actually probably a little more painful because the second time I had met this guy and his son there, and his son had a couple of illnesses. One of them was spina bifida. He was in a wheelchair and he can't walk or anything like that. And so I'm talking to him and his dad before the practice, and me and his son are, throwing football back and forth. And when the security people come up to us three and was like, "I need you guys to slide on down here. You can't be where you're at." So we slid down and we were away from everybody else, and it was just us three at this little particular area. And so Greg also was walking up the practice field or walking up to practice, and he signs for anybody and everybody. One of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. And then he signs the kids. He had like a Panthers fan parking only sign.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes he signs for me, and then a couple of other guys come up. And Christian's on the golf cart, so I'm just kind of like, whatever, it's not going to happen, no big
yeah.
deal.
Not today.
And he tells the driver to stop in front of us, and he gets out and he signs that kid's Panthers parking sign or whatever. And again, he's a foot away from me. He's standing right beside of me. He has time for the person beside of me. And, this kid's sign already had other players on it. My picture had other players on it. And once again, picture, paint pen. Say what? And it was the same picture and same paint pen. And I hand it to him. And once again, looks at the picture, looks up at me, gets on the cart, and he's gone. Like, no, like, I can't sign that picture, or no, I'm not comfortable with that, or I think you're going to sell it. Like, no, like, anything, just looks down, looks at me, and just keeps getting it. And I'm like twice in a row.
Yeah. Maybe it was the photo.
I mean, I would think so, but with like Greg Olson and Luke Kuechly both signed it, and maybe it was just one of those things that Christian was like, "This kid's going to sell this."
So, did you ever notice if when he was signing autographs, was he like personable? Did he talk to people? Did he interact with them, or was it? I know I've seen his autograph, and it is dog water. He has a horrible autograph. So, I mean, then it's weird. Like sometimes, like I think an autograph says a lot about the person's personality, and when you see somebody that just rushes it, they're like just kind of going through the motions. I don't want to do it, so I want to get you away from me as fast as possible. And my buddy Dan makes a sorry, he made a good comment there. Yeah, and that's the weirdest thing is like people are probably like, "Oh, Christian McCaffrey, that dude's awesome," when they see him doing like interviews for Fox and ESPN, but you don't see it behind the scenes how he actually treats people. Kind of like with Cam Newton, everybody sees him giving out a football to a fan, and they're like, "Oh, how can you hate that?" Or they see the live stream videos of him, like when he's doing the camp and everything and interacting with people, but they don't really see that away from the cameras and everything.
Yeah.
You know? And I had a similar thing like that with Fernando Tatis Jr. A couple years ago in spring training. So he's filming like a montage for MLB Network, and this would have been 2 years ago, before he blew up. And there's like 5 of us. I don't even know if there was 5 of us, dude. And they're filming everything, and then he comes off the field, and we're like Padres spring training. You are right on top of people, right? So he's walking by, ignores everybody, and then there's people that are just super pissed off. Me, I was like, whatever, because I've gotten Tatis plenty of times, but they're like, why don't you show that stuff on film? Why don't you film him doing that, ignoring all of his fans and everything? Because honestly, he's not that nice of a guy. Everybody knows Manny Machado is a douchebag, and he earns that because he's not nice to anybody. And then Tatis would always hang around with him, and they're really not nice dudes. But that reminds me though, another one of those don't ever meet your hero type moments was So I was really, really huge into NASCAR, still really love it, right? And my guy was Rusty Wallace. And I've never dreamed in a million years that I would meet him. I would have to do it like some type of like a paid signing type thing. So
Mhm.
towards the end of his career, it was Dover, Delaware. We would go up for the entire weekend where it used to be called the Busch Series, was
Mhm.
like what they call the Xfinity Series now, right? So the drivers would sign at their trailers. Their souvenir. Each driver had their own souvenir trailer, right?
Yeah.
So it was like Rusty Wallace is going to be signing today from like 1 to 2:30 in the afternoon, right in the middle of the Busch race. But the thing is, they were only giving out tickets, so you need
Yeah.
signing like 150 tickets or whatever. So you have to get there super early for that just to get in line for a ticket. Then you got to get in line for a signing. So I was lucky. As soon we would get there at like 7, 8 in the morning, something ridiculous. And then I seen that, and then I got my ticket. So I'm missing the Busch race. Parents paid for the ticket, you know. So that was a wash. So I ended up I finally getting a chance to meet Rusty Wallace. I have my die cast and everything, and what they do. So like Rusty setting it in souvenir trailer. There's a person to his left and a person to his right. So I go to hand the car. I hand the car to the person to the left, and I'm like, by the time I say Mr. Wallace, he had signed it, sent it to the person on his right, and I'm like, what the heck happened? What happened? Because
Like,
like I had my Sharpie. I wanted it done in paint pen. It was the I know nobody's going to know this, but back in the day, he ran a Harley Davidson paint job, and it was like the dark blue with the orange flames. I just thought it looked badass, and he signed it in black Sharpie. Sent me on my way. I was like, all right, cool.
mm.
I met my hero, and now I'm getting pushed out. I didn't even get a chance. Like he didn't acknowledge me, nothing, man. Just head down, signing. But that those are the two that really stick out for me. But Rusty actually redeemed himself. I ended up meeting him in Arizona. It was I don't know, it was something at a resort, but it was like him and Dale Jarrett and a couple other dudes. And I should have told him how he kind of broke my little heart at the
Yeah.
time.
Like,
Yeah,
oh, boy, this
it
is
was
what you did.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, uh, so how about some of the positive stuff?
Yeah, the positive I kind of alluded to it before. Obviously Panthers fan. I mean, Greg Olson and Luke Kuechly are about as big as they get. You know, as Panthers players
Mhm.
in the last decade. I mean, Greg Olson, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers. Those are about the biggest names. And the first practice I went to, Luke Kuechly walked up. He walked up to practice and he'd walk away from practice. Was rarely ever on a cart. And I had a football with me, and me and my granddad went the very first time I went to one. And the groundskeeper was talking to us because we were the only two there at that point. And he was like, "Who are you hoping to get?" He's like, "Don't say Cam Newton because it ain't gonna happen." And I was like, "Well, I figured that much." And
Yeah.
so I was like, the main one would probably be Luke Kuechly because I went to a free signing he had years ago, which, like you were saying, it was like wristbands, and it was like 300 wristbands were given out. And if you didn't get a wristband, you didn't get an autograph. And I was 306 in line. So,
Oh,
um, yeah. And so I was like, I tried to get him years ago. It didn't happen. And he's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "Luke's the nicest. You'll have no problem there."
yeah,
And Luke's walking up. He's walking up by himself. And I was like, "Luke," I was like, "I'm such a big fan of yours." I was like, "Would you please sign this football for me?" And he walks over there and he's signing the football. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much, Luke. I really appreciate it." I was like, "You know, you're one of my favorite players all time." I was like, "One of the best linebackers all time." And he's like, "I appreciate your support and you being a fan." He's like, "Thank you." And he slides over and he signed my granddad's football. And I was like, "I hope you have a really good season, Luke." I was like, "I hope you have a record season." He was like, "That's what we're going for. We're trying to bring that ship to Charlotte." And it
yeah,
was just like, he he could have just signed the ball and walked away, but he would. I mean, just the fact that he was acknowledging what I was saying, whether he like cared or not, he's probably heard that stuff a million times, and it doesn't even phase him. He doesn't even think about it. But just the fact that he was like, you know, reciprocating what I was giving. Just, I mean, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just met Luke Kuechly and we had like a 3 sentence conversation.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't have to be super long. You don't have to like hear their life story. Just thanks for being a fan. I appreciate it. You know, that's something that's pretty cool. Dan had a question though. Me personally, I don't know who John Beeson is. I don't do a lot of NFL signings unless they're a Hall of Famer, because my collection would just be out like exploding at the seams. But have you ever met John Beeson?
No, I haven't. Before I knew that the Panthers actually have an accessible practice that you can go to, he had already retired before then. I've been going to the Panthers practice for 3 years, 4 years, I think.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, John Beekson, I think he's tore both his ACLs like 19 times, not literally, but
And then, so you probably weren't there for Steve Smith Sr.
I have a super funny story about that one actually.
Let's hear it.
I've never heard anything good about Steve Smith, whether it was a paid signing or in person or anything like
Yeah.
that. And me and my wife, we've been together for 10 years. And one of the first couple of times,
I think I remember this one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a good one. You'll like this one, Dan.
and so first couple of times we were dating, I was over at her house. Her brother's a big Panthers fan and everything. So we were watching football. And I was like, oh, yeah, sweet. You guys have a Panthers game on. This, that. Me and her brother talking about Panthers. And my wife is like, who is this? Who's the receiver everybody loves? Who's the guy that everybody likes for the Panthers? And I was like, are you talking about? I was like, Steve Smith. She was like, yeah. She was like, I met him. And I was like, what do you mean you met him? She was like, well, my ex-boyfriend, his uncle is Bruton Smith, and Bruton Smith owns like 90% of Charlotte. And so
Bruce
she was like,
Smith, the former Bill.
his name's Bruton Smith. He owns like the NASCAR
Oh,
speed.
Bruton Smith. Oh, okay. Yeah, he owns like
He owns a Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, well, that was my ex-boyfriend's uncle. And so he set it up. They went over to Bruton's house, and Steve Smith was there. His wife was there. His kids were there. And my wife literally like held his kids, talked to his wife, played pool with him, played pool against him. And she said that he was just a royal dickhead the whole time.
Yeah.
And she was talking to his wife, and his wife's like, "Oh, I want to get a necklace with 89 on it and like some, blue and white diamonds, the Panthers color." And my wife said that he's like, "You see my number every damn Sunday. You don't need a necklace with my damn number on it. You ain't spending that kind of money." And Bruton has said, if you want to bring something and get signed, bring it. And so my wife brought a football and stuff like that. And she said that they set it all in the kitchen, and they all went to leave, and they're all like, kind of like, oh, we're going to get Steve to sign our stuff before we left. And he just went in the kitchen and just signed everything.
Really?
And just, yeah, he signed everything, which is good, I guess, but he didn't say anything to him or anything like that. And she just said that he was just like real short and just real rude with everybody the whole time. And she was like, kind of didn't really understand why the whole thing was set up. You could just tell he didn't want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of those one of those guys I don't want to meet. I want his autograph because I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer, but I like him on TV, but I think I would just despise him if I met him in person. And he's one of those people that have two autographs. So he has his free autograph and then he has his paid autograph. His like you can look it up on the internet, but his certified autographs where, it's through like I guess it would be Panini has the NFL license, right? It would be he'll write his name out, but then I think the free one is like SS Junior or something.
Yeah, it's like a couple of squiggly S's and that's it.
Yeah. But that's crazy though. You should feel pretty damn good that your wife was dating like Bruton Smith. I think that dude's a damn near billionaire with all the tracks that he owns, and he pretty much owns North Carolina.
So
So
imagine how I felt when she told me that, and I was like, "Oh, so you're going from a really wealthy family to this?"
yeah, yeah. But so I have a pretty good one. It's kind of like a circle of life type story. So uh, you've I've beaten this dead horse, but I lived in Hagerstown, Maryland. We had a minor league baseball team, right? So this was when they were a Blue Jays affiliate. Jason Worth he ended up becoming one of my favorite baseball players. And at the time, he was playing the Delmarva Shorebirds. And the best thing about having a minor league baseball team was you always wanted that team to end their season at home
Yep.
because all of the swag you could get hats, bats, batting gloves, sometimes even jerseys. Because it's the end of the year, the guys are walking to the clubhouse, ask for a hat. They're like, sure, take it off, throw it to you, hopefully get it signed, right? So Jason Worth played for the Delmarva Shorebirds, Orioles affiliate at that time. I want to say this was it had to be 1998 because I was still in high school and it was the South Atlantic League playoffs. The Shorebirds were playing the Hagerstown Suns in Hagerstown, Maryland. The Suns had actually ended up winning that game, eliminating the Shorebirds. But me and my buddy, we were huge Jason Worth fans because it was like so back in the day, it was cool to have the sideburns, the mutton chops, and he just looked like a badass. And walk-up music was always Crazy Train from Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah.
and then for the first couple years, his number was 69, and we thought that was cool. And then he changed it to 37, and then 27. But so the whole game we're hounding Jason, like, hey, can we have your hat? Can we have a bat? Something, right? So I mean, it's like the third inning. He's not going to give us his hat, So anyway, end of the game, we're waiting outside at the bus. Jason comes out, and like this dude had to be tired of seeing us because I want to say they were in the same division, so they played the Suns fairly regularly. And so we asked him for his hat. He gave us this hat. And so Jason Worth.
Nice.
So for some reason, that one day, I didn't bring a Sharpie with me. All I had was a ballpoint pen like a jackass, right? The one day I'm not prepared. But yeah, so this is the second team that he played for, because I want to say the year he got drafted, he played for the Bluefield Orioles. I could be wrong. I'll have to go on Baseball Reference. But this is his first full season hat. Yeah, so and I got to meet him again to ask him if he wanted it, and he didn't care. He's one of those dudes that doesn't collect his own memorabilia, right? So this was 1998. I was still in high school, didn't have any kids. Fast forward to what year is it right now? It's 2021. So 2019, 2018. The Nationals don't sign Jason Worth, right? And he's a free agent. Then finally he signs with the Seattle Mariners. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So the Seattle Mariners have spring training up in Peoria, Arizona. That's where my kids live, right? So he signed so late that he missed spring training. So he had to go to what is called extended spring training, which is awesome. Well, it's good and bad. So the bad thing is they do not release like a person like me, I cannot get the schedule for extended spring training. So I don't know when the games are, when they even start, because they play the games, but it's like one of those things, it's the pitchers that are keeping book, But the good thing is nobody goes to extended spring training games. The games are free, and there'll be more players in the stands than there are fans, right? So this is where I come to the Lion King circle of life thing. So now I'm there with my three kids, right? And so we park in the player parking lot because there's no security. So we park in the player parking lot. I'm walking over and I start freaking out because there I see number 28 Worth, Seattle Mariners. I'm like, he's here. I'm like, always, it's happening. we're going to meet Jason Worth. They're like, cool. I don't care. It's hot. When are we going to go get lunch? I'm like, after we meet Jason Worth. So, and I had met him lots of times. I mean, hell, me and my mom drove up to Scranton, Pennsylvania, because they have a minor league baseball team. Because I would look and see when he was going to be on the road, and that was the closest AAA team to us. So I would go there, get his autograph, stuff like that, right? So see Jason, totally lose my mind, fanboy, geek out, right? And I start. So he gets his like 2 or 3 at bats or whatever, because they're in extended spring training. It's like the beginning, the dream sequence of Mr. Baseball. It's like ball 5, ball 7. They don't care. Like if you want to stay up there, have an at bat, hit the ball. You don't need to run to first base. Have the pitcher run it back, start the count over. It's one of those type things. Yeah. So he gets his 3 at bats, right? And I tell him, huge fan, getting to sign some cards and everything. And I'm like, holy crap, boys, that was awesome. They were like, we don't care. You were just using us to get more autographs, which I was. But, anyway, so he's walking off and I don't know what he said, but he said like, hey, come here, right? And so I told my son, I was like, Camden, go over there, go talk to him, see what he wants. So he pulls out of his bag, boom, a bat, Jason Worth, right? So, and then, hold on, there's sorry for the camera work. Anyway, so Dan, you asked a good question. Was this the same day that I was recording him? No, it wasn't, because he didn't sign the bat for me that day. So I cleaned off the bat, right? I did a little bit of bat prep, and the signature, I'm going to have to, signature still looks good, but I put socks over the signature to protect it, right? So the day that I got it recorded, did the recording, was the day that I got the bat signed, because I went back up with the silver paint marker and everything. I think I even took a day off of work to go to a game. I can't remember. But and it was cool because so I got to talk to my hero, like just shooting the shit with him, and there was nobody around. It was just us. And the cool thing about Peoria Sports Complex, they have like these little wiffle ball fields. And so he got taken out of the game, you know, because he did his 2 or 3 at bats. And so I'm just playing with my boys, passing time, right? And then here comes Jason walking down the concourse, because there, you know how they have like the doors on the sides of the fields. So the guys will just walk there and then go up through the seats because there's nobody there, and they just cut across to go to the clubhouse. And he see me there playing with my kids. Like he started playing with my kids, and he's like, "What stuff do you have for me?" And I'm showing him everything, and he's signing like all kinds of stuff. And he's like, all right, guys, I got to go meet my wife for lunch. And yeah, it was awesome just being able to meet him.
That's like
and everything.
That's a lifetime stuff right there. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know it's just Jason Worth, but that's like my PC. And just being able to do that. And the dude, like, he's not an easy autograph to get because he can kind of be standoffish. But he was awesome, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. And then another really good one. So this was a Padres minor leaguer. He's in, I want to say 2017, 2018 Bowman prospects. His name is Mason House, right? So we were on they call them the backfields, where there's kind of fields where they keep the minor leaguers and stuff, and they're the farthest away from the clubhouse, and then they have to walk up. And my buddy Fig is on here too. I haven't talked to him in forever. He got a new job and left us in the Air Force. But yeah. Anyway, so I get the guy's autograph. So Mason House, right? And I will have to share my screen with you. I might mess this up, but it adds to the story, right? So we're there with my my 3 sons, right? And let me bring this over. I'll share my screen with you. Ah, crap. Hold on. Sorry. So let me share the screen, right? But anyway, the Padres minor leaguers, they start dressing my youngest son up in their gear, right? So they put a little batting helmet on him. They put batting gloves, which the batting gloves that he's wearing in the picture, Mason House ended up giving them to us. He signed both of them, right? But yeah, they put everything on my son. So here, let me share this for you. I don't know why it does that, but let me see if I can figure out a way to bring this picture up.
Yeah, because that's very intriguing.
Yeah.
I see it.
So you'll think it's pretty funny. It won't let me do it. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure something else out. I'm sorry. But anyway, so fast forward to the next year, right? So my youngest son, he was crying and everything because the players thought it was funny. They weren't like laughing at him. They were kind of like laughing at the whole situation, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why Mason gave him his batting gloves. But then, so the next year, right? My son, he sees Mason House, and I'm like, hey, you remember him from last year, right? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I'll be back, right? So he gets Mason House's bat from him, not broken, right? So I was like, what did you do? And he goes, you made my. He goes up and he said, I told him that he made my brother cry last year. Can I have your bat? So yeah, he kind of blackmailed Mason House, and it was it pretty funny.
That's a good angle to work too. That was a really good angle to work.
Yeah, you made my brother cry. So I have the picture up on. I have it opened up on my desktop. So let me see if I can share the actual desktop with you, and you can see this photo because it's pretty funny. All right. So do you see the photo?
Yeah.
So that's my youngest son, and he's crying, but he has the batting helmet, a bat. They gave my other son, a bat. He has the shin guard on down there, if you can see it. There's the elbow pad, right? So they put all their gear on him, and yeah. So
man.
So I was hoping we were going to get like a batting helmet or something, but they gave him both of those bats, the baseball, like I said, the batting gloves from the photo, but that's a pretty cool memory.
That is epic.
Yeah, and but that's why I love going to spring training, because the way that you can interact with the players, and yeah, it's just so laid back. But those are the two positive stories that really stick out to me. And as far as like the negative ones, I can't remember anymore. I try to tune it out, because it's not really usually when I get turned down for an autograph or something, it's just nah, I don't have time type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the guy, there was the starting center, I think it was, for the Panthers a couple of years ago. Like, I mean, he was a starting center, if I remember correctly, but he was, I mean, just like he's an offensive lineman center. You don't hear his name anyway, and he wasn't all that great. I think it was Brad Norwell. I can't remember. He was offensive line. I do remember that. He was walking up, and I was just like, I held my football up, and I was like, Mr. Norwell, can you sign my football for me? And just like, he's like walking by and just kind of cuts his eye at me and keeps walking or whatever. And the guy beside him was like, you ain't got to be an asshole about it.
Yeah, and then a lot of the foreign baseball players that I met, those dudes are awesome. But people probably wouldn't know who I'm talking about with all these guys. So, but yeah, I think we've come to a good stopping point. So, oh, you did have some news though. You bought a hobby box though this week for the first time.
Yeah, very first one. I've been collecting over 10 years now, and I've never bought a hobby box before. And Series One, I don't know why I'm such addicted to Series One 2021 tops, but I am.
Yeah.
And you can see all of that back there. I haven't opened
Oh
it.
yeah, your stash.
Yeah, and so the hobby box is sitting back there too, and I'm gonna sit on it for a little while. I'll open it eventually, but I gotta bring myself to do it.
Well, it's a good rookie class.
Definitely a
Yeah.
big rookie class too.
Yeah, there's a ton of rookies in it too. And who was it? The one dude for the Marlins, Eddie Alvarez, Olympic. I think he's an Olympic medalist. So that's a cool one. If you pull that, let me know. So,
Yeah, I got you.
but yeah. Anyway, anything else you? My buddy Fig likes your Buzz Lightyear. So
Oh yeah, you gotta have the Buzz Lightyear. Is it
yeah.
like somewhere right there?
All right, Fig.
There he is.
Man, he figured that out too.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, thanks everyone and Fig for showing up, the game statistic for showing up in the stream. And thanks everybody else for watching along. I appreciate it. We'll be back same time next week. Not sure what we'll think of to talk about, but yeah, I'm sure we'll come up with something good to keep you all entertained.
Definitely.
So, yeah. But you can check out Houston. Let them know where they can find you.
Right there. I can't ever get this right. Right there. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. There it is. At Chasing the Graph on Twitter and Facebook. Just hit over 1,000 followers on Twitter. Thank every last one of you for that. That's awesome. And at Chasing the Graph #8 on Instagram, which I never post on Instagram.
Yeah, the other 7 are pretty horrible. So
Thank you, Instagram, for the #8.
yeah, yeah. And then me, Charm City Graphs on Twitter, Charm City Autographs on YouTube and Facebook. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. And here's the awkward end where I end the broadcast.